My life improved after cheating wife left. My story actually goes back a few years, but the current situation with the pandemic has sort of brought it back to life in a way. I turned 39 last December. My girlfriend's birthday is 1 week before mine and my daughter's falls in between, so we tend to have a birthday week celebration. We had been together for nearly 7 years at the time, married for almost 5. I thought we were very happy. The speed with which everything changed shocked me. All of this started back when I was 32 and my daughter was 4. My ex-wife was 31. My ex-wife joined a new gym because of a promotion they were having. It was a very expensive high-end place. It was after that when the trouble started. The details of the cheating aren't that interesting, so I'm not going to spend much time describing it. For about 6 months my ex-wife became distant, picking fights a lot, going out on girls' nights, etc. After about 6 months of all this, I went away on a business trip and when I came home, my ex-wife had moved out. Maybe 2/3 of all her stuff and most of my daughter's stuff was gone. On the kitchen, there were divorce papers. No note, nothing. She was offering 50-50 custody and didn't want any money or the house. Now it might be important to know that at this time, I was already earning 6 figures plus bonuses and commissions. And due to some very wise investments and careful planning, I expect to be a millionaire by my 40th birthday or soon after. But I guess she wasn't willing to wait. She is a stunning and beautiful woman, so it's not too surprising she was able to meet the guy she did. Especially in revealing gym clothes. I didn't know this when I found the divorce papers, but the man she left me for was already a millionaire. He was also 45. But I didn't know about the other man at the time. All I knew as my wife and left with our child and left behind divorce papers. She wasn't answering my call or anything. Even her parents and siblings didn't know where she was. Eventually I talked to her, but she didn't tell me about the other guy. She just said that she wasn't happy and she wants to move on. After a couple weeks, what convinced me to sign the papers was when I received an invitation to her second wedding. I signed the papers and she was remarried 3 months after leaving me. I'm giving kind of an abridged version because the details of all this aren't so unique. Once I was divorced, I got to see my daughter again and basically she spent half her time with me and half her time with her mother. I focused on being a better and more present father. I redoubled my efforts to work out and established a thorough exercise regimen. I took some courses about investing and trading and made a fortune. I even discovered a new hobby, woodworking. I would find used furniture usually that had been thrown out, and I would refinish it. Eventually I started dating again. But it was nothing too serious. I was more concerned with having another woman around my daughter. She never really warmed up to wife's second husband. My daughter often said that he tolerated her, but that was it. She didn't use those exact words but that's what she described. Eventually I met my current girlfriend. We've been together about 3 years now, living together for 2. My girlfriend is from Thailand and is 10 years younger than me. She studied therapy and worked in a spa. Her and my daughter get along great, and my ex-wife is very jealous. My girlfriend and daughter enjoy spending time together in a way I don't think my ex-wife has experienced. For example, girlfriend and daughter both have long hair and enjoy watching videos online on how to make very elaborate braids and hairstyles. My daughter enjoys this more than the expensive toys my ex-wife is always buying. Time for the plot twist. 2020, and the pandemic were not kind to my ex-wife's new husband. He worked as a business consultant and lost about 75% of his clients when the companies wanted to save money. They might hire him again in the future but now it's tough. He still has plenty of money but he was essentially living paycheck to paycheck. Furthermore, it turns out he was also heavily in debt. I don't know all the details, but I've heard he has hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, as well as outstanding loans. He had to sell his house and they moved into a condominium. He had sell off a lot of his assets to cover most of the costs. He is still comfortable but their lifestyle took a drastic downgrade. The upside for me, my girlfriend, and daughter, is that my daughter has been living with us full-time for nearly a year. I happily volunteered to take her while they were dealing with their financial situation. The 3 of us have already visited my girlfriend's family in Thailand, and after the pandemic situation is over, we are going to go back and have a wedding in Thailand. We are tentatively planning on relocating there. My daughter visited Thailand with us and we haven't fully talked about it, but she is excited about living in Thailand with us. She has even started taking Thai language lessons online. I don't know how this will work exactly and it's not like it will happen tomorrow, but I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's my story. I hope it can help as a source of encouragement and motivation for people going through something similar. Remember that things can get better even after a bad situation. Now for the top comments. Be sure to send your ex a wedding invitation. Yeah, laughing my butt off. That would be great. Thai girlfriend/wife. You know you will be the financial provider for her Thai family and more. Listen to above comment. I hate to be negative, but I've lived in Thailand and have family there. You wouldn't believe how many expats live there and are married to Thai women, and basically supporting their whole family. Protect your assets and get a prenup. If not for you, then for your daughter's future inheritance. Aside from that, glad you were able to bounce back from a terrible situation and thrive. Her affair partner did you a huge favor. The divorce would have cost you a lot more if she waited a few years or wasn't in a rush to get divorced. The best revenge is sitting back, waiting, and watching their shiny new life crumble. I bet your ex is full of regrets, haha. Now for the next story. Private investigator caught my wife cheating the past 4 days. I caught my wife cheating for the past 4 days. Suspected for months, finally confirmed. She went to the guy's house today for an hour and 20 minutes. I won't go into details because they are too painful right now. I meet with a lawyer tomorrow as I plan on filing for divorce. We have 4 kids together, and a stepdaughter I have raised since 4. I feel so bad for my kids, but she has pied at every turn, and only tried to make me out as the bad guy for suspecting her. I am a good father and a great husband. I just don't understand why this is happening. I am 4 years younger than her, in great shape, and have always been there for her. Why do people do this? I hope my children will be alright. I am confused because I am still madly in love with my wife. I have been on top of my husband game, even reading books and carrying out the advice. Why is there such cruelty in this world? I have been reading this forum for days now and have to say thank you to all the kind souls that give great advice here. This forum has been a huge help. Thank you in advance for giving a damn. Now for the advice before the little update. Please take heed this advice. You will confront her finally with proof. She will bring the waterworks and beg for forgiveness. See past it. Don't allow the love you still have for her distort your thinking. Good luck. She isn't sad she did it, just that she has been made. For the love of God, don't tell her you know until the last day of divorce or mediation. You need to blindside her and her lawyer. My ex's lawyer got blindsided harder than my ex did. They don't want to tell the truth. Not to you and not to a lawyer. My lawyer would lay down a picture of my ex with a man, and then she'd say, was this guy just one time? I suppose this other guy was just one time too. Was it one time on this day and just the one time on that day and then one more time on this day? Ex's lawyer almost walked out on her. Play your cards when you're at the poker table. For your info, you seem resolute in your course of action, and for that I salute you. Be forewarned, the moment you hit her with divorce papers, she very possibly could shift gears. Expect denial, tears, screaming, yelling, apologies, speaking in tongues, attempts at intimacy, whatever. Listen up and listen good. She is not upset you are divorcing her, she is upset she was caught. Good luck OP, and keep us posted. Hey mate, sorry you are here. Please remember her actions are no reflection on you. You could be a perfect partner, but some people are just broken. Take care of yourself and your mental health. Don't confront her until you have a plan of how you want to proceed. After speaking with a lawyer, be prepared for her gaslighting, minimization and blame shifting. Do not allow her to manipulate the facts. You'll realize all cheaters work from the same handbook. This is sure to be an emotional ride, so get some support from a trusted family member or friend who can keep your secret until your plan is ready to actions. Work out, run, go to the gym. Whatever you do to help you work through stress, as the process between discovery and confrontation can really take its toll. Wishing you the best. You and your kids deserve better than what you've been given. Now for the little update. I filed for divorce today and then cleaned out the bank accounts. I left $100 in our joint checking. She thought I was out of town for work and went over to his house again. I got that too. She had no clue. For some reason I asked her to sleep with me before I disclosed that I knew. Afterwards I asked her if she was ready to be honest. She said, about what? I told her the affair. She never cried. She was just sorry that she got caught. She told me she felt like he was her friend and that they only had intercourse twice. Such a liar. I recorded the convo after that where she admitted to it again. She got angry when I told her I want half of the house. She threatened to do things I won't like if I insist on that. I told her I loved her and would still be there for her. She didn't care. only about the house. This is a messed up world. She gave me some details like that they started talking at the Little League fields. Next story. 2 years post-affair, affair partner is now a part of my kid's life and it's hell. Anyone out there who's learned to cope and live a free life? I'll try to be as brief as possible. Recap of what's gone down. Happily married, almost too happily in hindsight, for 7 years, together for 10. Had 2 beautiful daughters that are my whole world. Renewed our vows, had a ceremony. She cried and put on a whole sweet show. It was a very special day. She started going to the movies by herself a few weeks later. Caught her having an affair. Found out she'd exchanged hundreds of messages a day with her AP, including around 400 on the day of our vow renewal. After being caught, she separated, said she was never happy, and more or less left me with our daughters. Kept having the affair for months and months. Acted like she ended it, went to therapy, but she was unrepentant and just mean. Divorced in Jan of 2020, got screwed financially but kept 50% custody. Fast forward to this year, she tells me they've been dating more or less the whole time, and more recently she's involved him in my kids' lives. But the kids like him, he's apparently good to them, and involved, albeit more than I'd like. I've dated, but never felt comfortable introducing my kids to any of the women I've dated because I don't want to confuse them. I feel like I'm the only one trying to minimize the confusion for my kids. It sucks so bad because so much trauma is associated with him. I wish she would just date literally anyone else. It hurts so much when I have to hear about her affair partner from my own kids. But at the same time, when my kids talk about him I have to listen with a smile and not show emotion because the absolute worst thing would be to complicate things or involve them. It's awful. All of me wants to say Daddy doesn't like him, or please don't tell Daddy about him because it hurts, but I can't because I want to be a place that my kids feel safe telling me anything. So I smile, and change the subject, and sometimes cry once they're asleep. And it's everywhere. Like, I bought my kids little digital cameras for Christmas. Told them the cameras don't have to stay at Daddy's because I gave it to them, and it's theirs to take wherever they go. As a result, I now get to see pictures of them on my kids' cameras. It's torture. It's honestly keeping me from healing. I feel trapped. I don't know what to do and would really appreciate any advice because damn it I just want to feel free from this, but it's so hard when even my own kids throw it, innocently, in my face. Now for the top advice. Texting AP on the day of vow renewal? Holy cow. What an absolute garbage human she must be. When I read that point, I too thought, that is yet another example of a new level of cheating scumbaggery. Lower than low. My situation was a bit different. AP's family was always in the picture daily from day one. His parents are basically my daughter's grandparents. Tough, but they were always the best of people, along with his sisters. Ex married another guy, and I was very fortunate. He is a good man and took good care of my daughter. Invited me to birthday parties and we have never had an issue. Now it took me about 3 years to let go of the anger, but there is no benefit to adding drama to the kids' lives. Gotta take a deep breath and smile. You can do it. Thanks for sharing. I'm close to 2 years from D-Day and still have a lot of anger, so it's reassuring to hear that it will, hopefully, get easier with more time. I'm in a nearly identical boat to you, brother. Just remember, they will never love him as much as they love you. He's not their dad, you are, and they know this. He's a buddy to them like their other friends are. Truly nothing more. It sucks, but you have to remind yourself that the cheating jerk is good to the kids, and that's better than your ex being with some D-head that's a prick to the kids, as that would be infinitely worse. Get to the gym, focus on your work, make sure your time with your kids is high quality and fun, and bang some ass hotter than your ex. Life is not only good, but will be better than it ever was. Good luck. Thank you so much. This was exactly the kind of encouraging I needed, and right where my mind needs to be. Saving this. Peace and love. Now for the last story. My mom confided in me about her affair when I was 11 years old. I honestly can't even remember exactly how I felt back then when she told me, but I do remember understanding why she did it. My father was horrible to her, controlled every aspect in her life, including financial aspects, and would physically and emotionally abuse her in front of us all the time. She woke me up one night bawling her eyes out begging me to help her clear her Yahoo Messenger chat history. It was a school night and I'm pretty sure I was annoyed to be woken up, but she was crying and she's my mother, so of course I did it for her. I only asked her afterwards if she was comfortable telling me why I was asked to do what I just did, and she revealed to me that she's having an affair with this dude in his 20s who worked at a mobile store near our hometown, although we didn't live in our hometown. They met when we were back home for the holidays and continued ALDR for the next year and a half. My dad found out about her affair a year and a half after she told me, kicked her out of the house, and never let us see her since. My dad's also a notorious serial cheater. My mom always felt that he was cheating, but he never admitted to it. My stepmom after her had the same suspicions, and then revealed to us that my dad had actually cheated on my mom with her back when my parents were still together. Soon after, Dad divorced first stepmom and met the second one, still with her 10 years later, and of course he's cheating on her with his assistant for the last 8 years. She knows this. She's found as much confirmation as possible, confronted him, the whole 9 yards, yet she is still with him. I've been in toxic relationships before where I wasn't treated well, and surely I've been toxic in my previous relationships too, but I've never cheated. I'm in the most loving relationship I can think of now, and I 100% want to be with this man for the rest of my life. He's my best friend, he's unbelievably supportive, loving, caring, just everything I could have asked for and more. He's had a very similar upbringing to mine. Dads are almost identical in terms of behavior, so he looks at cheating the same way I do, straight away deal breaker with no exceptions. With all this said, I have the hardest time trying to imagine us happy together after 10 plus years. I know it's possible, but I cannot conceptualize the idea that he won't eventually get sick of me and look for something with someone else. I know it's due to what I grew up thinking was normal, or knowing it wasn't but not knowing what's normal. I don't know how to shake this feeling. Just wanted to rant a bit, I suppose. You have a lot of unresolved childhood trauma that, if left unchecked, can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms in your relationship. Therapy is one good way to recognize the destructive behaviors and learn to better cope and try to avoid certain behaviors. I'd suggest you undertake this journey together with your partner so you all can emotionally support each other. I hope you are supporting your mother and minimizing time with your father here. Your father is definitely a trigger. Yeah, I've been in consistent therapy for about 2.5 years now, and boy can I 100% confirm without it I'd not have been remotely half the person I am today. My dad stopped speaking to me after I moved out last year. I couldn't contact my mom from the age of 12 until I moved out, 24, and when I did, she no longer wanted it. I try and be as upfront with my partner as possible when it comes to literally anything on my mind, but sometimes I start spiraling in my head and yeah, it gets horrible.